Welcome to the Seller Roundtable e-commerce coaching and business strategies with Andy Arnott and Amy Wees.
Tell us about yourself, where you were born. I think if I remember, it was like Wisconsin, right? Where you live now, kind of your past jobs, college, school, Air Force, any of that kind of fun stuff.
Oh my gosh. It's a really long story.
That's all right. You can give us the cliff notes.
Okay, the cliff notes of my life. Let's see. I was born in Wisconsin, in a little farm town in Green Bay. Actually, is where the hospital I was born at. But my family lived on a farm in Seymour. We had a dairy farm and some chickens and some veggies and stuff like that. But anyway. And then I grew up in the Fox Cities in Wisconsin, and I was raised by a single mom, and I was always a teacher's pet. I always wanted to get straight A's. I was always, like an overachiever. I started playing music at the age of 3. I started playing piano by ear. And so I've sang and played music my whole life. I play 8 instruments.
I didn't know that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's music in my life there. And when I graduated high school, I got married very young to a guy who was in the Air Force, and it was my high school sweetheart. It's not the guy I'm married to now, but God has a way of working things out. So, I moved to California, and I worked as I had so many different jobs. That was the cool thing about the military life and moving so much, is that I always had to move and adapt. So I worked at Target for a little while, like Target. Mm-hmm. And I started as a cashier, and I was bored out of my mind. So I was like, hey, just keep giving me more challenges. And eventually I ended up being the garden center manager. And so I did that in Seaside, California, right on the coast there. And then from there, we moved to Georgia, Augusta, Georgia, on the other side of the United States. And I got a job as a nurseryman. So I took my love of plants that I learned, managing the nursery at Target, and I started working as a nurseryman. I went and got my nurseryman certificate, and I learned all about plants. So I knew like all the scientific names for plants, and I worked at a horticulture company. And then from there, I got a job as an accountant in home healthcare.
Wow, you've had quite the. I thought I was bad, but you've definitely got me beat.
Yeah, so I did that for a little while, and then I decided, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna finish college, because college was so hard to go to college while I was working full time. And I was like, I'm never gonna finish college. I have to do something. So I decided I was gonna join the military. And I joined the Air Force, and I was my career field was aerospace control and warning systems, and we dub it AC and dub, AC and W. And what I was responsible for doing was controlling aircraft from radar during times of war. So we would be the first radar out in wartime situations, and we would help, because planes can only see 180 degrees in front of them, as Andy, as a previous air traffic controller.
Yep.
So not only do they need the help of air traffic controllers to take off and land, but they also need the help of surveillance technicians like I was, to help them understand where their enemies are and if they're flying the right airspaces. So I did that for a little while. And then also I was a war planner in the Air Force. So I worked for years at many air operations centers and helped plan major operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, Horn of Africa, some pretty cool things there. And then after that, I got a job. Rashid was my husband, Rashid. I met him in Germany. We were doing wargaming there. That was kind of fun. Met him in Germany. We got married, and we he was getting ready to get orders to move, and I had retired from the Air Force by then. And so I had to move to Hawaii. Oh, shame. It was horrible. It was the worst assignment ever. No, just kidding. But anyway, I had to find a new job because I had a really secure job in South Carolina where we were at, and I had to find a new job. So because of my knowledge of war planning and stuff like that, I was able to get a job as a software engineer. And I know that sounds weird, but this particular software, it was easier for them to train you on IT than it was for them to train you on how to do war things, right? That take years of experience. So I got hired by Raytheon, and I worked for them for many years as a software engineer, and I got to travel all over. I got to go to Australia, Japan, all over, and work and build servers and install software and train users. So that was kind of fun. I took that job, and I went to the commander of one of my units, and I just got really, really brave, and I told him he should hire me to manage their entire IT system. And he was like, okay, I'm going to hire you. I'll give you a chance. So I was like, oh man. So I took the job. I was the only female, the youngest female in the career field doing that. And I rocked it. I did a great job. I took projects that were taking them, they had, I think before I came on, they completed 17 major IT projects in 3 years. And while I was there during the 3 years, we completed over 200 projects. So I was just really good at project management, at leading teams of people, motivating people. And then Rashid retired from the Air Force. Dun, dun, dun. And Hawaii's great, but holy crap, is it expensive.
Yep.
So we had to find another thing. I had to move again. And so I got a job in cyber here in San Antonio. I got a job in cyber. And so I actually... I got to do some really cool things that I probably can't really talk a lot about here, but I got to really be part of some major cybersecurity stuff that we did, and I got to lead a team of cybersecurity engineers, 36 of them, and we got to travel the world and protect America's weapon systems, which was really, really cool. And I did that for the last 4 years until I retired and said, I'm going to become a full-time entrepreneur. And now here we are today. I invented a product, I brought it to market, and I started consulting and helping other businesses grow. That's
Woo-hoo.
It. That's the whole story.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for live Q&A and bonus content after the recording at sellerroundtable.com. Sponsored by the ultimate software tool for Amazon sales and growth, sellerseo.com and amazingathome.com.